Hi, we're Karen and Simon.
We're coaches with over 100 years' experience in being human and currently living in Bristol in the UK.
A coffee chat about emotions and being human and the challenges our coaching clients face led us to this series of videos.
We aim to share our thinking and experiences to help you navigate the mayhem of working life. So, let's get going.
Good morning again, Karen. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you. Yeah, very good. Thanks, Simon.
Excellent, excellent. It's a sunny day in the UK for once. Let's have a chat about a really popular feeling or emotion when we talk to our clients, and that's frustration. So what can we say that's commonly held about frustration?
Mm. When you said popular, it made me smile because I know people experience loads of it, don't they? I'm not sure if they necessarily enjoy it, that feeling of frustration at the time, because normally it's a negative emotion, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
but it certainly pops up a lot. I get frustrated, I moan at other people, complain about things, frustrated about so much rain over the last 6 months, for example. You know, we get frustrated over weather, don't we? At work, we get frustrated over senior leaders and the changes they're asking us to implement, or our direct reports and, you know, the teams and the issues that they're kind of raising and that we don't understand or seem repetitive. Also, or we feel they're sorted. Sometimes we get frustrated when lack of fairness. Yeah, there's all sorts of things that trigger frustration, aren't there?
Absolutely. And I think it would be wrong um, if we try and think about, ridding the world of frustration. I think it's really important to say that, when we work as coaches, as mentors, we're not trying to stop people from being frustrated, because being frustrated is a really good indicator that something is happening or something is changing in your life or how you think about your life. Um, but for me, I'd love to be able to spend less time or spend less energy being frustrated. So I'm thinking, to understand frustration, how it kind of happens inside us, what have we got? What could we point to?
Mm. So I've learned over the last few years, I kind of did some training in non-violent communication. So that kind of opened my eyes about frustration. It used to be I saw frustration either with myself or with others, and it'd be a bit blamey, things are wrong, and is not within my gift to sort it out. But now I see frustration as quite different. So when I experience frustration, I think, okay, what's this telling me about what's important right now? So it connects with our human needs, what's really important to us, our values, and it's really good data. This time we talked about noticing emotions and the information it provides. It can be really good data about what's going on, what's being triggered for us in terms of the source of the frustration is telling us something about what's really important to us, that a need that's not been met.
For me, I've spent, I don't know, 40 years just being really frustrated, and it can be a really distracting thing. If you're in a meeting and you're frustrated, it can you can, your blood's boiling and you're not concentrating, you're not listening. It can be a whole of body experience. So I've been really, really trying to learn how to take that step back and say to myself, okay, what is it? That was the trigger, but what are my needs? You know, as you just explained, what are my needs that aren't being met? Um, but it's not easy, and it takes practice.
Mm. Lots of practice, and that's where mindfulness comes in. And, you know, people who practice mindfulness can probably identify those needs maybe when they're bubbling, before they become an outburst. So sometimes we tried we try to cap our emotions, don't we? We feel it's not socially appropriate, or we feel we shouldn't be reacting, and we try to bottle it in, and then eventually they just explode in terms of anger or frustration, which is kind of not helpful for anybody. But trying to recognize them quite early on, noticing, oh, there's some frustration building up here. What's it going on? What's it telling me about what's important at the moment, what my needs are? Hmm.
Yeah. What have we got in terms of um, models or ways of trying to understand this?
Yeah, let me put up a slide. So this, hopefully you can see this. So this comes from, so Marshall Rosenberg first wrote about nonviolent communication. So his idea is that there are, being curious rather than the blamey, the reactive part of frustration and negative emotions. If we instead try to be a little bit more curious about what's going on and try to connect with our own needs and other people's needs when we're experiencing other people's frustration, for example, that can really help us work with frustration in a more positive way. So here you can see, you might see loads of behaviors. So the red is all the kind of behaviors. So on the left-hand side, these kind of negative behaviours, usually that's seen as inappropriate in the workplace, rudeness, shouting, snappiness, pacing around the room, slamming doors, for example, or coming off camera if we're working hybrid, or frowning, on the camera. Um, and these kind of reflect some feelings, so maybe frustration. And we can only guess, a bit like a volcano, we can see the behaviours, but we can't see the feelings. We might be able to guess that there's some negative feelings. We might think that somebody's angry, but they might also be very worried. They might be fearful as well. It's really difficult to kind of understand exactly what feelings people are experiencing in that moment when you're seeing behaviours. So there may be frustration when I look at other people, but it might be something different. And even my own behaviours, I might be thinking, okay, what is this feeling? Is it frustration or is it something different? And then, like a volcano, even more hidden and unseen are our human needs. So everybody has very human needs for acceptance, for joy, for safety, for harmony in the workplace. And when these needs are not being met, that's what gives rise to negative feelings and then eventually kind of behaviors. When our needs are being met, you'll see on the right hand side of that diagram, where we kind of see more positive feelings and more positive behaviors as well. So it's a really good way to kind of acknowledge, yeah, we all have those same needs: need for respect, need for harmony. And my frustration might be coming from my need for respect, for example, not being acknowledged. I'm not feeling respected in that moment. And that might feel frustration, which might be leading to me withdrawing from a meeting, for example, or going quiet in a meeting, or just kind of refusing to engage with somebody, or even get a bit stroppy at them. What do you think?
And yeah, I love the idea, and I guess there's two things that I always think about. One is that Marshall Rosenberg, you mentioned, he was really clear that there is kind of thinking or using language of violence or peace, which are two very, very strong terms. Yeah, but
Mm.
but that's really clear that there is a way of this self-investment of learning about your emotions. The more you can learn about your own emotions, as gently as you like, the more you open up your other senses to other people's emotions, right? So it's never wasted. The more focus you put on yourself to learn how you react, that actually creates a better understanding of other people. And so, yeah, for me, it always goes back to really trying to hone in on, yeah, I was really frustrated today, but why? Always going, maybe 3 levels down. Why? Because as you said, getting to those basic needs is not necessarily a comfortable process if you haven't thought about it before.
Mm. Thank you. Yeah, so to kind of sum up there, frustration is a completely natural human experience. We all have it. Um, and kind of trying to understand that frustration can be really helpful. So being curious about, is that frustration coming from for me right now? What's going on for me? What's important? What the human needs that are not being met at the moment that I need to maybe pay attention to? That can be really helpful. I guess if there's a takeaway, it's just checking in with yourself on a
I think so.
regular times during the day, like feeling right now, is there any frustration, or what emotions, what am I feeling? Am I feeling happy, feeling sad, frustration, anger, feeling joyful? Am I feeling calm? So just kind of doing that on a regular basis whenever you can in the day, that can be really helpful. Even if it's just once a day, just checking in. How am I feeling? What's going on? And then
Yeah.
reflecting after, like you said, reflecting after an experience of frustration can be really helpful in trying to understand what's important for us.
Where can people get in touch with you? Remind us again.
Yep. So I have a website, Aspire Coaching and Consulting.co.uk, and my email address is karen@aspirecc.co.uk. Thank you. And how can people connect with you, Simon?
So I've got the website www.simonshawcoaching.com, and yeah, and if you see me in the streets, you can always buy me a coffee and have a chat. I'm always happy to do that too.
Lovely. Thank you.
Hey, no
See you
worries. See
next
you soon.
time.